Okay, so in this tutorial, we're gonna add fists to our character in our .io game. So before we start, we need to first keep track of where our mouse is. So I'm just gonna first add a mouse class or a mouse file into our folder. So we'll just call it mouse.js. And in here, we need to track its X and Y positions because that's how we're gonna make the fists operate, right? So let's create a let mouse x equal to 0 for now, and let mouse y equal to 0 as well. These are just the x and y coordinates of the mouse. And to actually track its position, we can create a function. So we're gonna do window.addEventListener. I'm not gonna use a function. We're just gonna add an event listener, and we will pass in mouse move and the event, so E, let's call it E, and an arrow function. Make an arrow function, just like that. And now for the X position of the mouse, we will do the event E dot client X, and for Y, it'll just be sy is equal to E dot client Y, just like that. So this essentially keeps track of our mouse position, and if you want to console.log it, so we can actually just log it in here, console.log mouse x, mouse y, it should work. So if we inspect and then go to console, okay, nothing, oh yeah, sorry, nothing's happening right now because we haven't referenced it yet in our HTML document. So we'll do script source is equal to mouse.js, just like that. And now if we save, you can see once we begin moving our mouse, I'll move this to the side a bit. But once we start moving our mouse, you can see the coordinates begin to change, right? Just like that. Very cool. Anyways. So now we need an object that represents a fist. So to start things out, we're gonna create another file. I know this seems like a lot of files, but it's necessary. And we're just gonna call this, just call it fists. We'll call it fists.js. Just keep it simple. And again, I'm just gonna reference this. We'll reference it after mouse. That makes sense. Script source is equal to fists.js, just so we don't forget. We're gonna reference it right now. And in here, we're gonna create our fist class. And you might be wondering why we're using a class. Well, the reason is because for our character, we want to have two fists on it, right? And we're gonna use trigonometry to essentially make the fists follow wherever our mouse moves, and that's why we have that mouse tracker class. So let's just create the class first. So we'll just call it class fist. And in here, I'm gonna create a constructor just to initialize the fists, whether it's left or right. And in here, we're gonna press in a player parameter and a side parameter. This shows who owns the fists, and the side just represents whether it's going to be left or right. And in our constructor, we are going to have, we're going to do this dot player, so this is referencing the player within this class, is equal to player, so whatever parameter we pass in. And we'll have this dot side is equal to side, same thing, whether that be left or right. And a fist also needs a position, size, color as well, its owner, so our player in this case, and what's called a punch state. Well, I call it punch state, and I'll explain that in a sec. So let's just initialize the radius first. So we'll set this dot radius is equal to, say, 10, for example. Make it small, and because we don't want it as big as the main body, right? And we're gonna give it color. So we'll just do the qualitative properties first. We can give it, well, what's the color we used for our character? Let's just check main.js. I like to put it there. So this color right here, I'm just gonna copy that real quick. What did I do? This dot color is equal to, oh my god, why does that look so weird? Okay. Oh my, what am I doing? Sorry. Okay, I got a bit confused there. This dot color is equal to that. And we'll also set a distance. So how, like when we click, we want our character to punch. So we have to set it, we have to give it a distance, how far it's gonna go. So for now, I'm just gonna set the distance to something like, I don't know what's appropriate, maybe like 30 or 35. Let's do this dot distance is equal to 30 or 35. Sure, 35. Let's try 35. And I mean, it doesn't matter. We can change it later anyways. Next, we're gonna do the actual punch distance. So this dot punch distance is equal to 35. And we're also gonna have a Boolean value to store or to determine if we're actually clicking. So we're just gonna initialize that real quick. So we'll do this dot punching is equal to false, right? As well as a punch progress. And this correlates to the punch state I was discussing earlier. So this dot punch progress is equal to 0. So we're currently not in an active state, so we're not gonna punch. And finally, the position. I update the position last because we want to load the qualitative properties first. So we'll do this dot x is equal to our player dot x. This dot y is equal to our player dot y. Just like that. So that's our class for now. Now that we've finished our constructor, we're gonna begin updating the actual updating of our fists. So I'm just gonna create a update function in our class. So I'll call it update, just like so, right? And in here, we're gonna start with the camera settings. This is really important because, well, just like for our main body here, we also need to adjust the camera accordingly for our fists as well. We have to treat them like individual objects. So to start things off, we're going to let cam x, and since this is within the scope of this specific class within this specific function, it won't affect our other variable also named cam x and cam y. So we can use the same name. So we'll do let cam x is equal to this. Remember what we did in map configs? We're just doing the same thing here. This dot player x. Sorry, this dot player dot x minus canvas dot width divided by 2. So this is essentially converting our screen coordinates, our screen to world coordinates, right? Because our player lives in the world, in the map, not the camera, not the dimensions of our canvas. I mean, our map is pretty small, so in this case it wouldn't matter too much, but it would make a difference if the map was, say, 2000 by 2000 grids, right? Okay, so anyways, do the same for let cam y equals to this dot, oh my god, this dot player dot y minus canvas dot height this time, height over 2. Save that. And we also want to convert our mouse screen coordinates into world coordinates. So the mouse's coordinates here, like we were printing at console, or we were logging out in the console. So we'll just call it world mouse x. World mouse x is equal to mouse.x. Yeah, what did I do? Mouse.x plus our cam x, like that. So now we're gonna do the same for the y. So let world mouse y equal to mouse.y plus cam y. Okay, save that. Okay, And now what we're going to do is we're going to find the direction from the player to the mouse. And to do this, it's going to involve a bit of trig, but luckily for us, we can use what's called a tan2. So I'm just going to create an angle variable. So let angle equal to, and this is part of the math class, right? So we'll do math dot a tan2, and in it we're going to pass our world mouse y minus this dot player dot y, so the player's y position, and the second parameter is we're going to pass in world mouse x minus this dot player dot x. And what this will do is it will essentially return the angle between our player to the mouse. So now what we're going to do is we want to create essentially a way to separate our left and right fist, because if we don't have like a side offset, then the fists will just be overlapping each other, and we want them to be spaced out. So what we can do is we can create a variable called let offset. Actually, I'll just call it let side offset, be more specific. Just declare it for now. And we're going to do an if statement. So we're going to do if our side is equal to left, so this is when we pass it in main, then our side offset will equal to, just say, and it can be, the number is arbitrary. Actually, well, it has to be somewhat reasonable. We'll do math.pi, negative math.pi divided by 3. So this is going to be the left side, so that means the right side will have to be positive math.pi. And we'll do else. So if it's not left, it has to be right. So we do else side offset is equal to math.pi divided by 3, just like that. And moving on, we also want a punch angle. So punch angle, we're just going to make it angle, and what we're going to do with this variable is we essentially want to kind of like animate it. We're not necessarily animating it, we're just really just changing its position. Okay, so let's create a variable let punch angle, and we're just gonna make it the same as the angle we calculated earlier. So let punch angle equal to angle, and we're also gonna create a rest angle. Let rest angle equal to our angle, but we are going to add our side offset from earlier, side offset. So what we're trying to achieve here is the actual punch animation, right? And so what rest angle is basically going to do is it's basically going to make our punches go straight or perpendicular from its original position. Because if you don't do that, what will happen is the fists will go punching sideways at the angle they're angled at, so from here, right? And we don't want that. So to actually put this into action, we're going to set our x position, fists, this dot x is equal to our rest x, right? And this dot y is equal to our rest y. Ugh, what the? Okay. Now for the actual punch animation logic, we're going to do if this dot punching is true, this dot punching is true, then here's where we're going to implement our punch progress. So what this is going to utilize is a sine function, because if you think about a sine function, it's like a wave, right? It's a sinusoidal wave, right? And it'll peak and then it'll get to its trough, right? Its crest and then its trough. And so what this punch progress is going to do is it's going to make it move forward and then back. And that's basically the underlying mechanics is a sine function, because when it hits its peak, it's going to be extended outwards. and then when it hits its trough, its lowest point, it's gonna return back. So that's kind of how this animation works. So I'll just show you how it works in action. So we'll do this dot punch progress. Stop punch progress. This dot punch progress is gonna increment by 0.1. We don't want a very large value. That would make it go like a fucking boomerang. And then we're gonna create a actually constant might be more appropriate. We'll do constant punch offset. And here's where we're gonna implement our sine function. So math.sine. And we will do this dot punch progress, right? This dot punch progress times math.pi. So this is again, we're doing this in radians, right? And after that, we're going to multiply by the punch distance. This dot punch distance, right? Oh, also I forgot to actually create the rest x and rest y, right? That's a bit hasty of me. Sorry. Yeah, this is not even initialized. So I'll actually create the variables. I thought I created it earlier. Okay, we'll do, so rest x is really just the player x position, and then plus math.cos, and because cos deals with the x value, right? So rest angle multiplied by the distance. And for y, pretty much the same thing, equals this dot player dot y. Oh my god. This dot player dot y plus math. This time we're gonna do sine. Math dot sine. Rest angle. They share the same angle, right? Sine and the distance. Just like that. That should be right. Okay. Oh. Okay, so now we're gonna actually move forward in the actual aim direction. So to do this, we're dealing with the coordinates, right? So we'll do this dot x, increment by math dot cos, our punch angle. So this will give the actual length times the punch offset. And we want it straight, right? So that's why we need this offset. This dot y plus equals math dot sine, punch angle, right? And then times the punch offset. Just like that. Okay? So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the punch progress. So this is just the finishing touch. If this dot punch progress is greater than or equal to 1, right? Then we'll set the punch to false, the boolean to false, just to know that we finished the punch animation. And then we'll set the punch progress to 0, just to end it. Stop punch progress is equal to 0, just like that. Semicolon, save, right? Okay, so now we're done our update function. That's pretty much it, I believe. And now we're gonna actually implement the punch, right? So we'll do it like this. We'll just call it punch for now. No parameters. Keep it simple. We'll do if not this dot punching. So if they're not punching, what do we want to happen? We want this dot punching is equal to true, right? It shows that there's currently still in this frame animation. And we'll set this dot punch progress to equal to 0 like previously, except for a different scenario. And we also want to draw our punch. We want to actually draw it. Instead of just doing the draw in the main loop, we'll just make a function here so we can easily call it and probably iterate through a for loop later. But anyways, so for this one, we're just going to create draw. And so here, to actually draw it, we want it to be circles. We want to match it. Our main body is a circle, right? So we'll do context dot begin path for circles. Pair the path, and next we'll do the fill style, so the color what do you want to paint our circle, and we'll set it to this dot color, which we initialized here. This dot color. Context dot arc, I believe. Dot arc, and for the parameters of the arc, we'll just do as usual, the position of the x, the position of the y, and the radius 0, and we'll end at math.pi2. That's where we want to end the drawing. And to actually give it the color, we have to use fill. Context.fill, just like that. And then we'll also give it a stroke, so we'll do context.line width is equal to 2. Context.stroke style is equal, oh wow, that's not 2, that's 3. Context.stroke style is equal to, let's make it black, so 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, where the hell is this hashtag mark? Oh, there it is. 0, 0, 0. Can add some more zeros, I'll just do that. And then we'll call the stroke to finish the outline. That should be it for our fists class. That's about it, I think. So now what we want to do is we want to go back to our input handler, because we do want to manipulate the click detection. So we'll add another window event listener. This time, instead of just tracking the mouse movement, we are going to pass in mouse down. So this is when we're clicking, right? And then event arrow function, just like so. And here in this one, instead of just having one fist punch in order, like one at a time, we're gonna do them randomly. So like kind of like popular.io games like survev.io or mumu.io. So we're actually just gonna create a variable that fist is equal to player.fists, and in here we will take the floor, so the nearest, round to the nearest lowest integer, or not lowest integer, nearest integer. And we'll do, since we want it randomized, right, we will do math.random as the first parameter. Math.random times the fist's length. Right, player.fists.length. Just like that. Ugh, why is this trolling? Okay, semicolon. And we'll actually punch it. So we'll do fist.punch. Right, to let it know we're in the middle of the animation, and once it finishes, we're gonna end the punch progress. Okay, so now back in our main.js, we're actually gonna start implementing it into our main game loop. So to do that, before we actually do that, we should create an array or a list. Array, sorry, this is JavaScript. So we'll do fists is equal to list array. Sorry, I'm just gonna make it empty for now because we can just push it later. So here, where should we push our fists? So we should first, before anything, we should update it. So right beside our player update, we will do, so we're gonna loop through our fists. So we're gonna do for let fist of player dot fists, right? Of our player fists. We're gonna do, actually, we don't have anything initialized yet. We don't even have anything in the array. So we should push outside of the function. So we'll do let, no, we don't need to make a variable. We can just do player.fists, and then we'll push. Okay, this is where we use the class. So we'll do new fist. So our first fist, we have to determine if it's going to be left or right. So first of all, remember in our fist class, we passed in two parameters, player and side. So for the player, we want to pass in player. So this is for one player. It's gonna, both fists will belong to this one player. However, for the side, we will pass in left. It's called left. And we also want a right fist, right? We don't want it to just have one fist. So we'll do player dot fists dot push new fist, and then player as well, same player, but this time we're gonna do right, because this is for the right hand. Just like that. And one sec, let me just check something, okay? Alright, so now that we've pushed our things, you can see this is kind of broken because this for loop is not finished. But now that we've pushed 2 fists into our fist array, we're now gonna iterate through it, and we're just gonna update our fist. So we're new fist.update, just like that. And oh, something wrong. Okay, anyways, we'll just continue forth. Now to actually draw it, we can draw it below. Once we draw it, we can draw it with the player, alongside the player. So I'm just gonna separate that, and we're gonna use another for loop. So we're gonna iterate through as well, the same way. Let fist of player dot fists, right? And in here, we're gonna actually draw our fist. So we do have, remember, we do have a draw function in our fist class, somewhere here. There it is. And as you can see, it's just gonna draw the circles. So we're gonna do fist dot draw, just like so. Save that, and that should be about it, unless I'm mistaken. Okay, so I figured out the problem. I accidentally used a equal sign here, and if we save that, another issue was here. I'm supposed to do strict operators, check strictly. But you might also notice that the canvas is still not showing, and that's because I'm pretty sure. Okay, I actually don't know, but I think it has to do with our update player. From the way I'm seeing things, just debugging wise. Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, we can start by fixing our... Is it our angle? Where is... Okay, I'm gonna check input handler. Okay, I think... Okay, first of all, this should change. This should be height. Height. Right? That should work now. Is it because of the color? Is it this? I have no clue. No, it's not that. Damn, JavaScript, being so picky. Okay, after some time debugging, I just realized the problem. In fists I used mouse.x, but here I just created 2 variables. So to fix that, we can just create a mouse object and just give it the XY properties, its position properties. So we'll do x is 0, and what is this auto correction, bro? Y 0. Okay, that should work. And for this, we'll just change it to mouse.x. As you can see on the right, it works now. Mouse.y. Okay, you can see. Oh, this looks horrible. I mean, it works. You can see it works right now. But as you can see, it doesn't really look like a character. I mean, it does look like a character, but you can easily fix this just by adjusting or modifying the fists. So we go to our fist class. We can. I feel like this is kind of big. I might just change this to like 7 or something. Let's try 7. Oh, there we go. That looks a bit better. The offset is definitely kind of weird. Let's try 5. Change the angles. Oh, that's a bit better. What else do I... The distance is kind of far. I feel like we should do 30. No, it's still kind of far. Let's try 20. I kind of want it on the character, you know? Okay, let's see this. It's still kind of close. What if we do 15? I don't think that changed anything. Oh, this is the punch. Oh shit, what am I doing? Sorry, I wanted to change the distance of the fists. Yeah, okay, I'll do 25. Okay, I like that. Look at that. That looks nice. Okay, let's also change the punch distance. Right now it's 25. You can see it's 25 punch distance. We can make it farther. Yeah, let's do like 40. Oh hell no. 40 is too much. 30. Wait, why do I? Oh, I'm actually so sleep deprived. Why am I changing the wrong thing? Let's try 25. Okay, you can see. Okay, this is a bit better, I think. I think this is nice. Yeah, this is kind of nice. Okay, I think I'll leave it as that. And in the future, we can add hitboxes, add enemy entities, all that good stuff. But for now, I'm gonna just end it here. The video is long enough. See ya.